Hey guys, Liquid Fire here. Thanks for joining me again tonight. So we are getting into Ultimate Hunting tonight. So Raffle has released the Devlog 4. So this one is all about gear. So they get into some of the weapons, some collars, and well, let's just go ahead and watch it. It's only a couple minutes long, so we'll just go ahead and play their video. It's of course will be linked in the description, but we'll go ahead and just play through it and pick up after that.
Hey everyone, it's Raffle and welcome in Ultimate Hunting Devlog. Today we'll talk about hunting gear in Ultimate Hunting. As you can see, we will have the pump action shotguns, side-by-side shotguns, and bolt action rifles, revolvers, semi-auto rifles, and of course crossbows and bows. But every game has weapons, so what is different in our game? You will be able to customize our gear. You can choose the caliber, muzzle, stock, and of course, a few other things. But the most important thing is to pick the caliber and go to hunt your favorite species. You can go to hunt deers or even elephants. But besides this, you will need something else, something that will help you hunt your animal. The colors. We have the ground color, the duck whistling color, and my favorite one, the Predator Jackrabbit. Maybe Fox will not come here right now, but I don't care. So guys, if you want to prepare for hunt, just pick your gear, go outside, in virtual woods. That's all for today. Thanks you for watching and see you soon.
Hello there.
Okay, so that's it's an interesting video, that's for sure. Parts of it, I'm not really sure what to think. So it starts out really nice, very professional. You've got the lead in, you've got the nice title screen, the camera work around the weapons on the bench. All that is good. And then on the flip side, you have stuff like this. Okay. And then you have this. And then at the end, if you watched past the main video, there's a cool scene from in-game, but they do this. So I'm so confused. I know that it's always great to see a devlog. It is, absolutely. Love to see it. And I know that there should be a pretty solid fight for legitimacy from the Ultimate Hunting team, because there's so much debate about the state of the game. When's it coming? Is it coming? Because it's been so long. The team has shrank from whatever it was down to 7, down to 2.5 people now, half being the part-time. So I'm really confused why they went this direction to make it seem like it's even less of a serious project. I don't understand what they're thinking. I'm assuming it's just to have fun with it, to kind of meet people in that fun space. I don't know. I guess I was just expecting it to be a professional devlog, proving the legitimacy of the game, proving the progress that they're making and things like that. So I don't know. It felt weird. Just to be candid, it just felt weird. Now, it is cool to see what they're working on, but the bad thing is I walked away not really feeling like we learned anything new about the game itself. Now, that said, There is one big new piece, and that's the demo that's coming out. That makes all this worthwhile. So forget everything else. The demo matters. That's huge. Absolutely stoked about that. It was just an odd way to get there. But let's take a look at what we did see and kind of walk through that a little bit. So they did showcase the semi-automatic shotgun, and it's nice looking. It's nothing that's, amazing in terms of like, a Benelli looking thing or anything like that. It's just a nice looking shotgun. Looks solid. You can tell it's got a choke in it. It's a nice looking shotgun. I think the model looks good. I don't have any major complaints with it. There's no arms sticking out of the side or anything goofy like that. So, yeah, it is what it is. The side-by-side. So that's a nicer looking weapon in terms of the decor, the actual design elements into it with the etching, the engraving. And I think it says side-by-side shotgun on the side of the barrel. Looks like it's been engraved. It's got the checkerboard grip. I mean, it's nice looking. It's nice. It's hard to tell a lot from the angles that we have, the image that we got. Yeah, it's nice looking. Nothing to complain about. Then you have the bolt action. So this is kind of an interesting one. So it is a bolt action. If you look at the end of the barrel, you can definitely tell there's going to be designs for suppressors, muzzle brakes, whatever else you want to put on the end of it that they offer. So that's good to see, and it's designed in to where it looks proper. It's got the cap on right now. Good open iron sights, little compact scope on it. To me, it still looks weird to have a compact scope on a hunting rifle. I'm used to seeing the bell on both ends, the bigger light gathering style bell. But it's a legitimate scope. It is what it is. So, I mean, it doesn't look bad. I think it's interesting that it's laying on this backpack. And they reuse this pack a few different times. So I'm assuming this is the pack you're going to have in game, which is cool. So I think the next one they looked at was the pistol. So the Goliath B500. Nice looking. Not what I would think of first off for a hunting rifle, or excuse me, hunting pistol. But it's big, it's powerful. Great thing to carry on your side if you're in the savannah. So I think it certainly has a place. And it looks nice. I don't see anything glaring that jumps out and says, "Oh, this is horrible." I think it looks nice. No issues at all. The semi-auto they have, again with the backpack, the semi-auto they have, can't really tell much about it, but again, you can see at the end of the barrel, it's definitely got attachments that you can put on there. I'm sure it's got a rail for all your optics and stuff. Again, it looks nice. Nothing wrong with it. Can't complain too much about it. The image in the background, the stone and stuff, that's kind of interesting the way it lays and looks. I'm not going to judge too much based on this, though, but it's got an interesting look to it. The next piece that they got into was the crossbow, again with that backpack. And this looks really nice. I think that's a really nice job on the crossbow. It just looks good. I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, it's not pretty per se, but it looks nice. Yeah, it's a Harpy. I don't know. It's a nice looking crossbow. And then you have the recurve. The tip on the arrow is kind of interesting. It's not what I would really expect for a tip on most arrows, but again, that's just one tip. I'm sure there's options, so not bad. Feather fletching on the arrow too, so yeah, that's nice looking. Again, the bow looks good. One thing that stands out to me on both the bow and the crossbow is how thick the string is. It looks super, super thick to me. And I know it's a game and I'm looking at it, through a different perspective than if I were holding one. But it just seems like they're both awful thick. And that's not necessarily a complaint, just an observation. They do look, kind of thick. We go from the the bow, and they in the video they got into the bolt action rifle, for example. Here, some of the things that you can do to the weapons. So you can change barrels on them. You can change calibers. You obviously can put on scopes. You have your different muzzle options you can use. We don't know what all they are based on this, but there's options for that. And then in the stock, what I like on the right-hand side of the screen here, though, you've got your power, your noise, accuracy, range, and stability. So this should help kind of explain how the different elements are going to impact the weapon. And to me, that's a huge thing. I'm not a big fan of just cosmetics. I would much rather have anything you do to a weapon modify the way it works. And that's what it looks like they've done here, which I think is great. So the noise, obviously, they've talked about silencers and stuff, so I think that'll be a part. I don't know what's going to influence accuracy. Maybe the stock will change accuracy and stability, or maybe it's just stability. Maybe the barrel, there's different, looks like probably barrel lengths. So maybe the longer barrels will be more accurate. I don't know. It's hard to say until they get into the more details on that, and we can really see what that looks like. So I think it's nice. When I look at the screen itself, it doesn't look bad at all. I feel like looking at it, you could probably jump in here and figure out how to use the UI pretty quickly. You've got all the modify stuff where you can make the changes. It looks like if you click on paint, then you could probably go in and change your skins. So I think it all looks like it should be fairly simple to use, fairly intuitive. If we look at the next screen, now this is out of the video. If you look at the next screen, it's looking at the different optics. So you've got iron sights, you've got a scope, and then a couple more that are locked. So I'm not sure what the difference is between the scope that's available here and the ones that are locked. I don't know if there's going to be some specialty scopes out there, maybe. Not sure. But take a look at the scope that is in this screen. That's a 2x50. 2x50. That is a crap ton of zoom. I don't even know what to think about that. That's insane. When you think about the zoom of, like in Wave of the Hunter, you've got the 21x. When you think about how much that zooms in, that's great. This is more than double that. That's insane. But in the image here, if you take a look at the bolt, it's a interesting looking weapon in here. But there's a lot of detail, so it's very cool looking. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I was blown away by the scope that they showcased here. Not that they showcased it, but the scope that was in the screen here. The other thing that they kind of glanced and looked over, not really looked over, but showed, was some of the ammo. So we see the 243s, the 4570. On their Steam site, they showcased the 416 Brigby. We know that there's a ton of different ammos, so this is not new at all. Again, it's nice to see it again, but I don't feel like we really brought out a whole lot of anything new. I mean, I just feel like this was recapping a lot of stuff that's already been discussed. I will say, however, if we take a look at the scene that they showcased with the collar in, I believe Rifle said that was California. When I look at this scene, I'm kind of confused. So it's an open world game, but this scene looks like it's something that's on rails and you're at a stage. And I know it may just be the particular scene they chose. I don't know. But to me, it just doesn't feel like an open world. It feels like you're somewhere and the animals are set up for you. I don't think that's the way it plays, and it just doesn't make sense with everything we've heard that would be the case. So it may just happen to be this is a little clearing in a deep part of the woods. I don't know. I don't know what to take from it's the thing, and it's going to be really hard to take a lot from screenshots like this, but it just feels a little weird. And then when I look at the trees in the distance, that doesn't really stand out as something that just looks absolutely amazing. One of the big things that we've been talking about with Ultimate Hunting is UE5. The models look great. Everything looks great. And in this particular image, I don't step away from this thinking, wow, that looks really amazing. And that kind of bothers me. Now, I know I'm reading into one particular little scene. I get that. But when we look at some of the other images we've seen in the past, some of the savannah scenes, things like that, they just looked amazing. And then you look at this, which is definitely, or appears to definitely be in game, and I don't know why it looks so much worse. It doesn't have the fidelity that we've seen in a lot of the other images. And then now transition and go to the clip at the end of the video when you're looking at the giraffes and the elephant. The giraffes look great. The elephant looks great. The motion with the trunk and all that. I mean, that all looks very good. I think it's weird the way they incorporate a little Star Wars into it, but whatever. But it looks better, but I just don't see it looking the same as some of the stuff we've seen before. So, I mean, if we look at some of these other images, like this one of the savannah where they're holding the bow, again, the bowstring looks awful thick to me, but it just looks better in the terrain than this image does. Or maybe we take a look at this one with the Buckfear 150 with a 6x24 scope on it, which is a really nice scope. I mean, I don't know, it looks better to me. A lot of the savannah ones, I think, as we kind of clip through some of these, I think they do look better, and I'm assuming part of that's just because of the type of terrain it is. But something that kind of jumped out at me as I was looking at some of these older pictures here that we're flipping through is this one. This was from June of last year, and we're still seeing the same thing in the devlog today. So I'm just confused. I don't know how else to say it other than I'm confused on why we're not seeing new stuff in the devlogs. This whole devlog is basically a recap of stuff that's already been out there. If we take a look over into the Steam page, I'll kind of run through things quickly in here that they brought up. So first off, Raffle talks about thanking everyone for our patience and reminds everyone that it's now a two-man team and a part-timer. So they're doing their best. And I get it. It's going to be slow. There's no doubt about it. With 2.5 people, it's going to be slow. That's fair. I don't think anybody should expect anything to be fast with only a couple people working as a dev team. They go through the bows and firearms, which we've already looked at. They talk about how you can customize the weapons, swapping calibers, tweaking muzzles, stocks, and optics. That's all cool. It talks a little bit about ethical hunting using a big magnum on a rabbit versus a varmint round on an elephant. So it does mention that you can get knocked out in game, which I think we already had an idea that was an option. Then they talk about some of the hunting accessories, optics, binoculars, scope, spotting scope. Again, nothing new here. It mentioned specialized ammo, and it shows some of the 416 Rigby's, some 243s. Then they get into the calls, baits, and scents. So they mention a couple callers. They mention that you have baits that you can use to draw animals to a location, drop some feed, hide and wait. You can use scent lures, urines, to mask your smell and lure the animals closer. Again, nothing new. They talk about clothing and strategy, so don't forget camo and apparel. Blending into the terrain can make or break your hunt. Pair that with the right calls, bait, tactics, and ammo, and you'll see why ultimate hunting is shaping up to be a truly authentic experience. Okay, so what's the camo look like? What's the apparel look like? How does this play out in game? Pick your favorite gear, plan your strategy, and get ready for a hunt. Again, nice things to hear, but it doesn't really tell us anything new. Okay. Now the next piece is the one I'm really stoked about, and that's the demo version. So I'm going to read this word for word. As we continue the development, we are happy to announce that we just turned on Steam page for Ultimate Hunting Demo. It will be a small cut of the African map with 3 animals to hunt. We would like to hear your feedback and suggestions about the game so we can fix, change, adjust things that were clunky, bad, or bugged. Right now, we don't have an exact date for the demo version, but we aim for early summer. Okay, so that's huge. A demo, hopefully, early summer. So that could be in just a few months. So that's awesome. Some of the features that they wanted to talk about here. So, welcome to Ultimate Hunting, where you get a taste of the hunt in a limited but action-packed experience. Explore a 4-kilometer square stretch of the African savanna, track elusive game, and test your skills in 3 short missions. So there's a little bit there. So we know that there's missions, and we're getting what we assume is a small portion of the map. So it's a 4-kilometer square stretch of the African savanna. Some features in the demo. So you can hunt the 3 different animals. It's going to be the elephant, warthog, and kudu. Don't know if it's greater or less or what, but it's kudu. So you get 3 different animals you can hunt, fully functional mechanics. So you have the plant atlas. I'm not sure what the plant atlas is going to be for. I'm assuming it's for identifying the plants. Just not sure how that plays into the game. The game atlas. You'll be able to customize your rifle, deploy lures, and track animals with realistic AI. So that all sounds good. Drive and transport, so you'll be able to navigate the terrain in a vehicle and transport your harvested trophies. So that part sounds good too. Actually able to see the vehicles in use, see what the mechanics look like for picking them up in the truck and taking them back, or whatever vehicle it is, and taking them back. So that's awesome. I'm going to skip the next one and go to the last one. So ethical hunting rules. So be mindful of your targets. Hunting young animals has consequences, and repeated offenses can label you a poacher. I don't know what that does to you in the game in the long run, but it seems like they're pretty serious about not hunting the young, so that's cool. The one I skipped is the multiplayer co-op. So for the demo, they're rolling out a co-op, which is pretty interesting. So you can hunt alone or join up to 3 friends in online multiplayer. So only 3. So that's a 4-man group. And you can coordinate strategies, take on missions together. So co-op missions, that's cool. And experience the wild as a team. So that's cool. All right. So it's the demo. You get to 4 players. So that's cool. And then this is just the beginning. Experience core gameplay mechanics and immersive atmosphere before diving into the full version of Ultimate Hunting with even larger maps. So, like we said, this is just 4 kilometers of a bigger map. Expanded gear. So that's cool. And up to 4-player multiplayer action. Let me say that again. Up to 4-player multiplayer action. So originally it was 16, if I remember correctly, they were talking about doing, and that was going to be huge. I mean, that's a ton. But it looks like that's been toned back down to 4 from 16. So, eh, I don't think that's too unreasonable. 16 sounded like a huge, huge stretch. And maybe they don't mean that there will only be 4. Maybe they just said 4 because they'd been talking about the demo. I don't know. Just kind of going by what it says. It sounds like it's down from 16 to 4. So that's, I will say that's disappointing, but it's not really a big deal. It's not surprising is kind of the way I would look at it. But what is surprising is the demo. So we've been looking at different screenshots. We've been looking at different assets that they've shared. I mean, we've been looking at stuff for what, 4 years now? I mean, just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff. We've seen some stage scenes. We've seen, videos that, showcase different elements, and that's all okay. But we haven't really seen true gameplay. We've seen just tiny snippets. Now, when the demo comes out, not only do we get to see it, we get to experience it. So to me, out of this entire devlog, this is the part that matters. Being able to get in game, to see how things actually work, experience it firsthand, and see what things truly look like in game is going to be huge. That I am absolutely looking forward to. Very excited to see that. I know a lot of us have been following the game for ages. And I've said it before, Way of the Hunter, in my opinion, picked up a bunch of players because of Ultimate Hunting. I know there were several of us who were like on the Facebook page or whatever, and excited about Ultimate Hunting, getting ramped up, just waiting for something to come out with it, thinking that it was going to be soon back then. And, nothing was coming. We knew it was in the future, but we were all ramped up. And then out of the blue, Way of the Hunter drops this trailer. And it's like, oh, wow, that looks good. And I think a bunch of us, because we were already amped up for Ultimate Hunting, jumped into Way of the Hunter and, took off with that since it, came out when it did. And a lot of us have been waiting for Ultimate Hunting to come out. And I think that this demo should allow us to answer a lot of questions. I'm hoping that it's stellar. I don't know what to expect, to be honest. It's been so long. There's been so many different issues along the way. There's been the change from UE4 to UE5. All the different struggles with the dev team. They're shrank down now to 2 full-timers and 1 part-timer. The team just kept shrinking. So, I mean, there's been so many different obstacles that they've faced along the way. I just don't know what to expect. But the good thing is it doesn't matter what we expect. It matters what we see. And in a few months, hopefully, we see something and we can make a better assessment of what the game looks like, how it's going to play, and really get a good feel for what Raffle and the I was going to say Raffle and the team, but Raffle and the other person and a half. But what Raffle's team is actually putting out there. So I'm super excited about this one, and truly can't wait to get in game and see how it all pulls together. That's going to tell us a ton. So again, this is the big part to me out of the devlog. So very excited for this. The rest of it, it's just a recap of stuff that we already knew. I mean, maybe there was a specific item or element that hasn't been, shown before with, some of the pictures and stuff, but the demo's where it's at. And the demo makes this completely worth it. Anyway, so we're going to wrap up. Yeah, that's it. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. God bless and happy hunting.